Hi everyone, this is Richard. Okay, so we got the Flappy Bird clone video game running, and it runs pretty well. And you can add more onto it and do whatever you want to it, customize it, and the AI really does it all for you. All right. So what else do we want to do? If you, for example, as a production type of application, you'd want to put in tests, right? So you want to make sure that it's rock solid. So if you're playing your Flappy Bird game for 5 hours. You don't want after the 10,000th pipe, you don't want it to crash all of a sudden because there was some bug inside of there, right? So you want to make sure to test everything appropriately. Then you want to log because if it crashes all, after 10,000 pipes or something like that, you want to be able to log that so that you can go back and fix the program once that happens after 10,000 pipes because you have nothing better to do, right? So what do we do? This is my opinion on it, and I don't know the answer to it. I suspect that tests might be less important in vibe coding. The reason why I say that, and again, I've looked into this a little bit, not a lot, but this is my reasoning. The computer put together a code as best as it can. And so I think this is a good area for research. It puts it together best as it can. And so it puts it together with a particular type of logic. With that in mind, it probably took into consideration all the test cases that it would have actually written anyway. So in other words, it did the best job it could. If it's going to write test code, the test code might be biased to not pick up the things that it already missed. Does that make sense? So I'm not sure if testing is super important. Now, the flaw in that logic, of course, is just that, wait a minute, the coding, it's not actually thinking, it's just using human behavior, mimicking it to write the code, which is flawed, right? Because human beings are flawed. And so testing is important to catch those flaws that even the AI will make. Of course, then the flaw to that logic is, well, how do you know that testing is created correctly? Unfortunately, you either have to really rely on the AI or not rely on the AI and build your own freaking tests. So I'm not sure what the right answer is. What I wonder is maybe using one AI type of system and then using another one to write a test for it. I don't know what the right answer is. I think we have to study the issue, but at least we have to keep that idea in mind. What logging in my mind, again, I could be wrong. Logging seems to be different because logging, you're not dealing with just something that works right here and now when you test it, but it's something that's unforeseen, something that you didn't even think about whatsoever. Again, 10,000 pipes later. And so if 10,000 pipes later, something happens, you want to get that stack trace, figure out what happens, and you can fix it very easily. Well, you won't, but the AI will fix it very easily as long as it knows what the problem is. It might be completely wrong until we sort this as society or something like that. Let's go ahead and just build the tests and go ahead and build the logging just in case, okay? So as you might already know, to build a test, it could be complicated, right? And to do it really, really well. So what do we do with complicated things? We do the to-do list, right? Just an FYI, I'm jumping around a little bit. With the to-do list, in my experience, if you're going to go down and do a lot at the same time, it's actually cheaper, at least on Windsurf, to do a lot at the same time rather than do this, then do this, then do this, and chop it up into little sections. I think I said in previous videos, there's pluses and minuses for asking the AI to do a lot at the same time versus a little at the same time. If it's a little at the same time, you get to check your work while it's going on, but it costs more. If you do it all at the same time, ask it to do a big chunk of code at the same time, it's cheaper, but you potentially get not what you're looking for. All right, so I'm going to say create a to-do tests.txt file. In it, document the steps needed, you can word this differently, of course, needed to create a test and logging. I'm going to say a comprehensive I want it to be complete and there's no stone unturned here. And logging framework. This must include unit tests, integration tests, and let's just do system tests as well. And let's do that, okay? I think that's good. Let's do that. And again, for making the framework, I could have used Grok code free, but we'll do it. Oh, by the way, this whole thing so far cost about, I think it's like $5. So to create this whole functional Flappy Bird app, where is it? It is right here. This cost about $5 in code. So in AI coding. So keep that in mind. It's really powerful. Again, maybe not something to make a $1 million business out of, but it's a lot of fun, okay? To do text, it'll take some time, and then what we'll go ahead and do is we'll start implementing things up and down. All right, so I think I'm going to spare you guys a little bit of time. Let's just fast forward to the future. Okay, here we are in the future. I'm going to accept all. Then I'm going to go over here to do texts. Okay, so here it is. Okay, whoops, I did not add the checklist. Let's just throw this in here. Add check boxes in. Again, super lazy. Yeah, I could do this myself, but why? Okay, check boxes in the to-do tests txt file, and in order to check off while implementing the features. All right, let's just do that. And let's look and see what happens. Okay, log levels, game logger, log output handler. All right, logging to the bird class, pipe class. Okay, so it's getting everything. Then it's going to do the unit tests. I'm not sure if there was a reason why it wanted to do, okay, the dependencies. This is just the documentation. I think I should have just gone down a little bit further. Now it's creating the unit tests here. Error handling, game flow. Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and accept this in just a little bit. System tests. Okay, the problem with system tests, unfortunately, is it takes a long time, does not make for good video. But the rest of them might be good. Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do here, just for fun, I'm not going to make you guys sit around, but I'm going to say implement the entire to-do tests.txt file and check off all the boxes as you go. All right. So I'm going to do it all at once. So this entire file, let's do it all 8 phases and see what happens, okay? I'm just going to do this now. I don't think it's going to go through all of them. I think it's going to end after a certain level and say, okay, now you got to type more. We want more money out of you. I think that's what's going to happen. It states it all. It doesn't include 8. Or is there execution order? Yeah, it doesn't include step 1, step 2. Okay, let's see how this goes, and I'll see you guys back in just a little bit. Okay, we're back. Now, let's accept all, and that took about 20 minutes. Okay, so it did everything. Let's just see if it actually works. So we created the logging, unit tests, integration tests, system tests, widget integration, test utilities. Okay, so that's pretty comprehensive. Let's see what we can do here. Let's pull up a terminal. And let's try flutter test unit. Let's do the unit tests first. if we're going to do all the tests, that may take a while. You know, it's never a good sign when there's like a countdown here. Okay. Okay, well, that was not a big deal. Okay, so run the test again. Pipe manager test, reset clears all pipes. Okay, let's get this. Right click. Whoop. That was a dual authentication code. Fortunately, it's all expired. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead, do this. Let's grab this all. Oh, way up here, way up here, way up here. And okay, let's just take everything and let's go from the beginning. And I'm going to go ahead. What happened here? Okay, let's just grab everything. And I'm going to say send to chat. Let's see what happens if I don't even send and make any comment like fix it. Did you see that? User is showing me test failures in the terminal, so it knows what's going on, and then it says need to fix these things. Sometimes tests do fail. The question I always wonder, because I'm not looking at the tests in detail. I think you need an actual software engineer to do that. But what I wonder is, are the tests being made so that they will pass? So I don't know. We need to look into this. Maybe that's a future video, okay? Look into each test step by step. I don't know how long this is going to take. Sometimes this can take a little bit of time. Let's fast forward to it. Actually, never mind. Okay, we're back again. Let's accept that. Let's go back down. Let's try it again. And all tests pass. Okay, so we did quite a bit inside here. Let's just do Flutter test. Let's see what happens with that. I'm afraid this may take a while, but I don't know. It's a pretty straightforward program, so maybe not. All right, so we'll get this. As learning, let's just grab some of this. I'll send it over there. As a learning also, sometimes we can just say, what is the problem with this? And it'll actually tell us what the problem with it. But this test, I'm not sure if it's... we can see test exception logs above. We can just look through this and see what it's doing. But sometimes if you want to translate this back into English or something like that, compact, move next, order. So it'll show you where the problem actually is, and that's why I like the logging. You can get these error codes and just put them in, and then the AI can figure out where the problem actually is. So let's just see how this actually works, okay? Okay, we're back. And so we'll accept all, and let's go back down, and let's see what happens with the tests now. So typically, I like to just run the test again, make sure it actually gets fixed. All tests passed. Okay, so we'll do the original test unit, see if that was broken. Okay, and then we can review the code and see if we really like the test. Let's just take a look at this. Oh, one last thing. Sometimes I like to change it around, and I say, assess the... First of all, I'm going to say assess this app and rate the quality. All right, so this is a weird type of testing, right? So it's a quality. It gave it 8.5. Okay, strengths, logging infrastructure, code quality. Sometimes I say rate the testing, the framework of it, or the logging, and it's giving it a 9 out of 10, a 9 out of 10. Let me take a look here. And then documentation. Oh, I didn't even know we had documentation. That's pretty cool. And then test area. So we can actually go into here and I could say things like make further recommendations. Usually it does. Add more UI tests using Flutter's widget testing for complete coverage. And we can go from there. So I think that's pretty straightforward, but just something that we to keep in mind that we can do. Add the testing, logging, ask questions about it, use this terminal to get some more input and improve the app overall. Okay, so I hope that was clear and I hope this is helpful. Thanks.